Welcome to the Human Nature Channel. I'm your host, Alex Tamsula, and what am I doing here? Well, it's Tuesday night once again here at my dad's relaxing farm garage. In my last video, you may have seen a clip of me sitting in the seat of a Kubota lawn tractor leaning back. So yeah, you could say I'm relaxed. The excavator, the Bobcat, is back inside for the winter. Won't be going outside to tear up the landscape until spring. Earlier this evening I stepped outside and inside the door frame is nailed a thermometer and the temperature was 18 degrees. There's snow on the ground. Yeah, it's winter out there. I turned off the heat here in the garage because I didn't want the gas furnace coming on and interrupting me while I'm speaking, which is why I'm wearing a hoodie over my hoodie. But I'm feeling pretty good about myself. I made a discovery I was able to put into practice. In my one video, there's no such thing as a narrative hugger. You'll notice it comes in two parts, and both of those parts are about the same size. What had happened was I discovered this. If I write 1,000 words, and then I read these 1,000 words to you, it'll come in at about 7 to 7.5 minutes. And I went, wow. And the way I discovered this, it was kind of by accident, I did a video called, Of Course You Know This Means War, where I rallied to Mike Turber's defense when his channel, 5x5 News, got taken down. And the opening part where I talk about Mike specifically is about 7 minutes long. It's about 1,000 words long. And in fact, it's such an interesting unit, Mike asked my permission to use that piece of it as a video over at 5x5 News' backup channel. 1,000 words, 7 minutes. I went, oh, huh. Imagine the possibilities. I could do these, I could do 1,000 words, do a video, put it on the shelf. I could do this assembly line fashion. Oh, wow. Well, anyway. There's always something interesting here in my dad's garage. What can I show you tonight? What we have here is a pair of his and her gasoline-powered weed whackers. Yes, if I ever get married, me and the missus will be out in the backyard with these things. There won't be a dandelion within a mile's radius. And because I'm such a good husband, I'll let her use the weed whacker with the chainsaw attachment. We're talking domestic bliss here. Well, I think I have everything I need this one last time. I have a step drill bit. If you have a small hole you want to turn into a big hole, this is what you need. You know what I really wanted? I wanted an auger. Okay? You would think in a farm garage this size, somewhere down here, somewhere up on the second floor, I would find an auger. No. Closest I came was a hand crank drill. I don't even know if it's close, but no cigar. See, the reason I wanted an auger was I wanted to say, imagine Blackbeard the pirate did a little woodworking on the side. Then he could say, hand me auger, mate. But now I can't. Okay, Irv's not here tonight. Irv had an accident. He broke his finger. He broke his finger off, and it was still in the handle of the cup. When I discovered this, it was hanging on by a shred of paint. It was a pretty serious injury. The good news is Irv is back together. He's on the mend. He told me to tell you he will be up here next week to explain how this was all my fault. If you hear Irv say, I invited 3 of my friends over to play keep away with him, That never happened. Okay, so let's just put that aside. Okay. Ooh. I got a magnifying glass with a light on it. Oh, this is real Jetsons, huh? Ha ha. Hey, Sherlock Holmes. I got a bottle of hand sanitizer, which means I have nothing left to say. Why don't we pick this up back at my place, huh? See you there. We will open with a bit of Las Vegas shooting truth community news. Sort of. We'll be talking about Jason Goodman over at Crowdsource the Truth again. So it's somewhat Las Vegas shooting truth related, even if only tangentially. But anyway, on Friday afternoon, November 1st, Goodman had on as his guest Dr. Cyril Wecht, the world-renowned forensics pathologist. I would rather deal with a hair stuck across my eyeball than have to watch Crowdsource the Truth if I can help it. I would rather have to floss my teeth after eating scrambled eggs. Jason Goodman is a smiling tight ass who has to put both palms against the sides of his head and push when he takes a dump in the morning. What a relief. Jason Goodman is the Merv Griffin of YouTubers, saying golly gee whiz to whatever is said by a guest on his show. Jason Goodman never confronts, challenges, or even questions anything any of his guests say. Jason Goodman is a conspiracy theory gush, and if it wasn't for his guests, he would be an empty sports shirt. In fact, any of Goodman's regular guests could be on just talking to an empty sports shirt on a hanger and you'd probably not notice. Jason never editorializes. He never looks directly at his audience and addresses them. Any opinions expressed are only through roundabout reactions to something that day's guest said, meaning without his guests, he has nothing to say. Keep in mind, though, having nothing to say is not necessarily a handicap if you want to make it big on YouTube. There is something I've been wanting to talk about for a while, and that is the nature of YouTube itself. I didn't have an excuse to do it, but now I do by way of Dr. Cyril Wecht. I watched the video where Dr. Wecht was on Crowdsource the Truth, apparently his second appearance. This time, Goodman and Wecht were talking about the Jeffrey Epstein autopsy and milking the Epstein didn't kill himself meme for all it's worth. While I was watching the video, I had an insight of sorts. Whoever Jason Goodman has on Crowdsource the Truth, Jason Goodman makes them the star, not himself. That got me thinking about YouTube generally. YouTube is obviously not like television, and it would be a mistake to approach it like it was. Or let me put it another way. If I asked you, what is YouTube, how would you answer? In late summer of 2017, I decided I wanted to start a YouTube channel. And one of the first things I did was get a copy of the latest edition of YouTube for Dummies. I read it and I came away with this understanding. YouTube is an advertising platform. That's what it was designed to be. If I have access to products like cameras, consumer electronics, software programs, I could do reviews of the products. If a product gets a good review from me, I can leave a link in the notes section where you can purchase the item. People can also come back to the comments section and describe their experiences with the product or ask for advice or a refund. YouTube is about turning the wheel of commerce. You're selling something even if it's just an idea with an AI voice. I don't know about nowadays, but back when I was reading YouTube for Dummies, it was all about your brand. That's where YouTube is different from television. Television gives you content. news, game shows, dramas and comedy, sporting events, reality TV, but it cuts the content into segments with advertising. Here is the thing. Aside from Super Bowl ads, does anybody actually give a shit about television commercials? No. And that's when the heavens opened for me. All any YouTube video is a television commercial where you're selling something, even if it's just yourself. I sort of disagree with the people who say that what made YouTube successful 10 years ago was the edgy content. Actually, going by what is said in YouTube for Dummies, what made YouTube grow so huge so fast was the cosmetic and hair care channels, the cooking channels complete with recipes when you click show more, how-to channels, the video game review channels, vlogs, etc. Now, I'll give edgy content its due when it comes to one thing, and that is it revealed a hidden secret about YouTube advertising and selling in general. It is this: you can be offensive on YouTube, but don't give offense. Do you know what I mean by that? We'll work our reasoning backwards using Mike Turber's 5x5 news channel as an example. Mike's main channel, as you probably know by now, was taken down. Mike gave offense. He gave offense to the idiots in Nutterville who still tolerate the idea that nobody died at the Las Vegas shooting. Mike heaps scorn on these inconsiderate slobs. And I say good for you, Mike, for doing so. These people need offended. They don't do the Las Vegas shooting truth community any good whatsoever. And besides that, we're judged by the worst of us. You know how that works. If Mike sees somebody pushing or tolerating crap like nobody died at the LVS, he'll call him a dumbass. Me, I do things a little differently. I'll try reasoning with people like that first. When that fails, then I'll call him a dumbass, or at least tell him to leave my channel. Mike was trying to act as a self-correcting function in the Las Vegas shooting truth community, and he got shafted by the very cutthroat weasels in need of correcting. All allies of Mike should get behind this pledge: zero tolerance for people who say nobody died at the Las Vegas shooting. Now, I know what Jason Goodman is selling. He's selling his access to a network of guests, which is where Dr. Cyril Wecht comes in. Plus, there's Goodman's regular band of merry players like Larry Klayman, Laura Loomer, Jerome Corsi, and of course, Jason's very own international man of mystery, John Cullen. In some respects, a pretty comfortable setup. So, with all this going for him in YouTube land, imagine Jason Goodman looking into the camera and saying zero tolerance for anybody who says nobody died at the Las Vegas shooting. It'll never happen. He'll never say that because he has the instinct to not give offense. He especially can't say it now that he is thrown in with the likes of Truth Bomb, somebody who does tolerate nobody died at the LVS. Goodman is kind of stuck with the Nutters from this point on. So, was helping take down Mike Turber's 5x5 news channel a wise move for Jason? To quote Nassim Nicholas Taleb, time is the judge. We're now going to talk about Dr. Cyril Wecht. Some of you oldsters might know who he is, and some of you younger viewers might not. He's been around a long time. As a well-known forensics pathologist, he has made frequent appearances on television news shows, giving an expert opinion on famous wrongful death cases. He played a very important role in the investigation into chronic traumatic encephalopathy, which was the basis of the movie Concussion. A true Pittsburgh story, I might add. When Albert Brooks plays you in the movie, it's gravy from here on out. I became aware of Dr. Wecht when I was in college in the mid-1970s. I had fallen in with a group of Kennedy assassination buffs. And since I had already finished all my Aunt Julie's books on the Kennedy assassination, I fit right in. The name of Dr. Cyril Wecht came up a lot. By this point, Dr. Wecht had made a reputation for himself as a critic of the Warren Commission report on President John F. Kennedy's murder. Dr. Cyril Wecht's main bone of contention was that the autopsy performed on JFK was a botch, or worse if you're talking about tampering with evidence. From Dr. Wecht's Wikipedia page, we learn in 1965, Wecht presented a paper critiquing the Warren Commission to the meeting of the American Academy of Forensic Sciences. In 1972, Wecht was the first civilian ever given permission to examine the Kennedy assassination evidence. It was Wecht who first discovered that Kennedy's brain and all related data in the killing had gone missing. In 1978, Dr. Wecht testified before the House Select Committee on Assassinations as the lone dissenter on a 9-member forensics pathology panel re-examining the assassination of John F. Kennedy, which had concurred with the Warren Commission conclusions and the single bullet theory. Out of the 4 official examinations into the Kennedy assassination, Wecht is the only forensics pathologist who has disagreed with the conclusion that both the single bullet theory and Kennedy's head wounds are mutually consistent. Wikipedia also tells us Dr. Wecht earned a BS from the University of Pittsburgh in 1952, an MD degree from the University of Pittsburgh School of Medicine in 1956, an LLB from the University of Pittsburgh School of Law in 1962, and a JD degree from the University of Maryland School of Law. After serving in the United States Air Force, he became a forensics pathologist. Dr. Wecht served on the staff of St. Francis Hospital in Pittsburgh before becoming deputy coroner of Allegheny County in 1965. 4 years later, he was elected coroner. Wecht served as coroner from 1970 to 1980, and again from 1996 to 2006. Dr. Wecht has also been active in regional politics. He was the Democrat nominee for U.S. Senator from Pennsylvania in 1982 and chairperson of the Allegheny County Democratic Party 1978 to 1984. Wecht became famous for consulting on deaths with a high media profile. Some of the cases included Robert F. Kennedy, Sharon Tate, Brian Jones, the Symbionese Liberation Army shootout, John F. Kennedy, the Legionnaire's disease breakout, Elvis Presley, John Benet Ramsey, Dr. Herman Tarnauer, the Scarsdale diet guru, and others. During his career, Wecht performed more than 14,000 autopsies. He is a clinical professor at the University of Pittsburgh School of Medicine and an adjunct professor of law at Duquesne University. By car, Dr. Wecht lives only 15 minutes from where I'm sitting right now. He lives in Squirrel Hill. Now, before anybody accuses me of doxing Dr. Wecht, let me inform you the address of his practice is also the same for his residents. If you want a consultation, he's in the yellow pages, so to speak. So there. Dr. Wecht is a polymath, a Pittsburgh icon, and somebody who doesn't shy away from a fight. He is the real deal. He was suited and booted when I passed him on the street. So the question I have is, what in the world is a credentialated individual like Dr. Wecht doing as a guest on Crowdsource the Truth? I send Jason Goodman a lot of tweets about Squirrel Hill, about how much I like the place, about how much it means to me, what it's like being in a neighborhood that experienced the mass shooting. Up until recently, I was trying to get either him or Laura Loomer to give me a comment on the mystery of Plantation, Squirrel Hill. For those of you who don't know the story, On October 25, 2018, Laura was kicked out of a rally for Andrew Gillum, Democratic nominee in Florida's 2018 gubernatorial race, at the Kol Ami Synagogue in Plantation, Florida. The next day, October 26, 2018, Cesar Sayoc, the faux bomber who created a lot of fear lasting over a week with his delivered packages to prominent Democrats, billionaire George Soros among them, was arrested in Plantation, Florida. Then, on October 27, 2018, the Tree of Life synagogue shooting happened in the Squirrel Hill neighborhood of Pittsburgh, favorite neighborhood of Laura Loomer critic Alex Tamsula. See, what gets me is the arrest of Cesar Sayoc is bookended by events in two synagogues, one farcical and the other horrific. I want to know why that is. I still haven't gotten an answer from either Jason or Laura on this, even though every tweet I send to Jason has the hashtag Squirrel Hill Forever on it, as well as the hashtag Viva Las Vegas. Though Plantation Squirrel Hill is something I'll probably never let go of, lately I have also been tweeting to Jason Goodman on how unhappy I am with him and his role in getting Mike Turber's 5x5 news channel taken down, which I consider to be the act of a cowardly weasel. Courage is something you can't fake, and cowardliness is something you can't hide. Jason. So, what do you think? You know what I think about coincidences. Is Alex of Squirrel Hill seeing Dr. Cyril Wecht of Squirrel Hill on Crowdsource the Truth meant for me? Now, I'm not saying Dr. Wecht is in on anything in any way. I'm not even sure he knows who I am, although he might. Squirrel Hill may be the center of the known universe, but it's not all that big. So let me ask you, do you think Jason Goodman is trying to send me some kind of message? We'll take a poll, and you can vote in the comments. Give me a 1 if you think Jason Goodman is trying to signal me, or a 2 if you think he's not. I can't wait to hear from you. Have a good one.